People, deluded. I'm back again. Good or messed it up there. Wish there was a reverse of that. But as I said, people, deluded. I'm back again. Good morning to those of you in the UK. Good morning to those of you not only in the UK but everywhere else in the world. Better yet, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending on who you are, wherever you are. I appreciate that it's early somewhere. I appreciate that it's late. That's why I'm very thankful for the support you guys give me. Please make sure you're hitting the like button early doors. Obviously, check out the pin message because obviously it's Arsenal versus Palace versus Arsenal. I'll be doing a watch along and match reactions, people, for that. So make sure you're there. All information is in the pinned message. But if you give me a sec, I'm such a nice guy. I'll drop the link in the live chat for you guys. If not, it's in the description. Again, there's no reason to be lazy. Please make sure you've hit the like button. I can't imagine any of you are not subscribed to this thing, but if you're not, make sure you've hit the sub button. I thought, you know what, let's have a bit of fun. Let's go through some transfer rumors and things like that. I saw a lot. The motivation behind this was Grealish. Like, I know we're not getting Grealish, but can you forgive me for an Arsenal fan for A, wanting him because he's a good player, and two, trying to find the feasibility for it, saying, you know what, if he offered this, if that happens, maybe give them Joe and Eddie and throw some funds on that. I don't know, but it's not going to happen. It allows us to dream in it. We're going to get onto the man at the back, whether we want him at the club or not. Personally, I don't know where I stand. I don't want Ramsey to come back, but I hear the logic. So we'll get onto it, people. We've got a lot to get through. There's 45 of you locked in already. Good numbers so far, considering it's only been a minute. Please make sure that correlates to a like button. Again, Twitch gang, I know I don't show you lot as much love as you deserve, but I appreciate anybody who's locked in via Twitch. If you want alerts on my page, people say make sure you're following Twitch because YouTube snakes you lot, doesn't tell you lot when I've uploaded, when I'm premiering content, when I've doing live streams. YouTube is just an enemy of progress, and they take fat commissions off the little pennies you earn. So, you know, YouTube are bullies, man. I can't wait till the next platform is invented and things. Big up the members, of course. Big up DG. I hope you're well. I'm well, my dude. I hope you're the same. You know, I hope everybody's in good spirits. Ramsey coming back, doubt so, but we'll get onto it in a sec, man. We'll get onto it. I hope everyone's good. Whatever you said, Gooner. Big up yourself, DG, and everyone in the chat. Fat W incoming tonight, boys. I hope you're correct, man. I hope you're correct. You know, for me, I'm so happy that the season's done past this week now. We just got to get through Brighton and Crystal Palace, and what has been a woeful season is done. Then we can restart the pre-season optimism and do this all over again a year from now, such is our club. But I welcome the break, man. I'm really tired. Carlito, you're not listening. I just said I don't think we're getting Grealish, but I said with nothing more, we can humour people. Who wouldn't want Grealish? I literally said I would love Grealish, but we couldn't get him. Carlito, I appreciate your support, but please make sure you're cleaning your ears and listening. You know, listen. There's no need to be going, DG, really? Come on, listen. Anyways, people that can listen, Nathan, big up yourself, man. I'm Gucci, my guy. I'm good. At least it gives me gives me to think about something. Fair play. How nice of you, DG. Big up yourselves. Without you lot, there's nothing there. Ryan, I'm gonna offer my opinion. Messi player has said, morning, DG. Hope you're good, bro. Big up the best football channel on YouTube. I appreciate that. That's massive praise. That's massive praise. Man, I'm saying no Ramsey, enough of this romance. You know, get Grealish and Zaha. I think, you know, you'd be punching to get either or, and we're probably more likely to get Zaha than the others. Trust me, Jay. Man, I have to learn to listen. You know, learn to listen. You know, let me know your opinions on Aaron Ramsey and whatnot. I know some of you are for it, some of you are against it, some of you probably don't know where you stand. So I think on that note, we can get into we can kick things off with Aaron Ramsey, better yet, people, in my humble opinion. Now, for what it's worth, just for people who cannot hear, I do not think Aaron Ramsey is being signed by this club. I don't think it's feasible. Again, if it did happen, if you take him on permanently, you've got to take on his wages. And I love Aaron Ramsey. I was one of them, man, that used to back Aaron Ramsey before he went and became this guy. I think, you know, people got to remember, you know, it shows that you shouldn't always write someone off, because Ramsey used to have a tough time with Arsenal fans. By the time he left, people were begging him to stay. We'll never know if what the rumours are. There's some rumours that say Ramsey was presented an offer. He said no. There's rumours that said Ramsey didn't, Ramsey was never offered that, where we all know apparently he wasn't in Emre's plans and then he was. We'll never know what the truth is. Either way, free transfer, we should have sold him, but he went to Juventus and he picked up a trophy or two. It ain't really worked out. A blind man could see it's not going to work out long term at Juventus, because no disrespect to Aaron Ramsey, he's a bit of a one-trick pony in midfield. He can play football, he can do 1-2s, he can play deeper, but he's not the technical level midfielder that Juventus should be aspiring to. To be fair, quite a few midfielders are struggling. And obviously the wages he got, his agent played a blinder for Juventus. That's a problem. If we did keep him, obviously, or better yet, if we do bring him in, which I don't think is going to happen, does it send off the right signals in that he's winding down his career? He probably won't get Juventus wages, but he wants something along those lines. You've still got Aubameyang. There's talk of Lacazette. There's other examples, Mr. Willian. There's many examples of mismanagement of wages. And as much as I love Ramsey, when I look past the sentiment, inconsistent at best would be the way I'd describe him. I think there's a lot of drama. I think Ramsey was never as bad as people make out. He's never as good. Over 38 game calendar minimum in the Prem, I'm not too sure we saw too many consistent from start to finish Aaron Ramsey beyond the moments. Like somebody said, there's no time for sentiment, so I don't think Ramsey comes back. Obviously Ramsey in a pivot with Partey or something like that, I don't want Ramsey to play as a 10, but clearly I'd something along the lines of, if we can't do business, Ramsey, Partey and Smith Rowe is better than some of the things we could put together this season. So by that logic, I hear it. I just think sometimes you have to let bygones be bygones. We have to move on from Aaron Ramsey and again find someone a bit younger, a bit more consistent, someone who's less strained on the wages. And again, this just is laziness. It's a bit like, if it is true, because it's just rumours, it's laziness, because this is a player that Juventus want to get rid of. And when you look at the names Arsenal are being linked with, obviously not so much now because obviously the new kit's been out and obviously the season ticket, so we're being linked with Camavinga and all of these sort of guys, but typically it's no disrespect to them, it's Ryan Bertrand, it's Aaron Ramsey, it's anyone who, whether the club wants to get rid, they want to leave, they've got half a way out. And that's actually been the story of some of our recruits. Even Partey, obviously Atletico didn't want to sell him, apparently they wanted to play him and Torreira together, allegedly, based on reports, but we've got to look at it in the sense of he had a release clause, so he's halfway through the door. If Thomas Partey, never had a release clause, is he an Arsenal player? Personally, I don't think so. That's just my opinion. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. But for what it's worth, don't shoot the messenger. Like I said, we're gonna do it. We're just gonna humor these rumors in this live stream. And let me know if there's any other rumors. Aaron Ramsey would love Arsenal return. I mean, yeah, because there's no expectation at Arsenal. Juventus and their fans and everybody, they brought you in big money, heard your goal scorer and all them thing there. They're gonna want you to do it. And there has been periods where he's been all right at Juventus. They're not bringing you in for periods. They're bringing you in for consistency, and it's just not been levels. But Juventus star Aaron Ramsey would love to return to Arsenal this summer, according to reports. Now, he's been linked with Everton, which could be a good move for him. He's been linked with Liverpool, which, again, is a better move than Arsenal right now. I don't think Liverpool should take him. I think when it comes to pressing and all those things, he could do it, but I'm not too sure, man. Ramsey could score goals. Ultimately, him and Joe Willock, they're the only goal scorers in our football club, or people that have been connected with this football club. But I don't know, man. I think Ramsey's a good player. I think if you took him, I wouldn't mind him. I love Ramsey as a footballer. You can see via my tweets and things, but I love Arsenal more. And without emotion, I don't think it's the best choice, because the financialness of the deal, if that's a word, whether you take him on loan and pay a loan fee, whether you take him on permanently, whether you pay part or all of his wages, I don't know if I'm getting what I need from Aaron Ramsey. And I think Arsenal need players that, if they're not necessarily world-class, they're competent, consistent and confident. Many players throughout Arsenal's 25-man squad, typically, they don't have all of the 3 C's. Some men are competent, but they're not confident or consistent. Some men are consistent, but they're not confident or arguably competent. So maybe they're just consistently crap. Do you get it? Very few players hit them 3 C's, and I don't think Aaron Ramsey hits all of those 3 C's. So I think we need to get back to basics. And don't get it twisted, the skill set that Aaron Ramsey typically comes with is being a goal scorer and things like that. I think Arsenal need that, but not in Aaron Ramsey's case. As you lot know, for him, 30, returning home, lived in London for the best part of his life, excluding obviously being Welsh. Like I said, arrived at Arsenal a young man, left an old man, left a family man, came here as a fresh-faced 17-year-old, left with a wife and kids and FA Cup and all those things. He's grown up at this club, but we ain't got time for romance. Again, by that logic, we always say we need Arsenal, man, and people that know Arsenal and know what it means and all these things. You could say that, but Ramsey's been part of the FA in the past. I'm not too sure he's going to give me what we need. And at 30 years of age, you know, if it works out, it works out. If it don't, we're looking towards a potentially Lacazette new deal, Ramsey to some degree. You know, you'd have Willian on the wage books, and there's some other people there. But according to reports, people, the 30-year-old is keen on a return to Arsenal. These claims have been supported by Fabrizio Romano. Apparently at Juventus, he's struggling. He's not playing, and he's had many injuries. So a player with many injuries, Arsenal's record, Arsenal's medical staff at this moment in time, I'm not going to criticize them because I don't really know what they're on, but Partey's barely injured at Atletico. I see there's an issue. We're playing Odegaard with a problem after coming back from the international break. Are we surprised? We've overplayed Smith Rowe and Saka. We've gambled with Partey's fitness. We've gambled with David Luiz. We've gambled even with Bellerin. We've gambled with Xhaka. You know, a bit of that has to be placed at the manager because obviously there's a duty of care. I can see a reality where technically these players have passed fitness tests. They're saying they want to play. Then it comes down to the manager to not be naive and save players from themselves and say, you know what, you're not 100%. We'll try again next week. I might lose this game, but I might win the war. I think there's a duty of care, and I think Arteta has struggled, especially when it comes to resting players to play in another competition or when there's been multiple games a week. So again, injuries at Arsenal, injuries at Juventus, it doesn't spell good, is it, really and truly? And, you know, him and Bale and Ramsey, I'm sure if they could, you know, Bale's probably telling him, you know what, you need to go back to North London, you know, because when I came to my old club, it was comfy. Obviously, I've scumbagged a couple goals in recent weeks to make the goals to appearance ratio look good, but I've just been chilling, bro. You can go to Arsenal and just chill, you know. Big up to Aaron Ramsey. He's won 3 FA Cups. He made 350 appearances, but the past is the past, man. And for me, whether Ramsey, listen, just because a man's turning 30 doesn't mean he's done in it. I think people need to stop tarnishing everyone. And I'm not comparing him to Fernandinho because you can't, but it's about how you look after yourself. My problem is that Arsenal don't learn from hindsight and apply better foresight. In the same way, the moment Aubameyang signed a new deal, you need to be looking at a striker long term. That doesn't mean going and buying one next summer, this summer, the summer we signed the deal. He signed the deal, this summer, next summer. It just means I need to know that you're watching one, because strikers are funny. You might watch a striker for 1 year, he's good in that, but you're waiting to confirm his level. That's what Arsenal need to do. So if you do bring Aaron Ramsey back and he did become central to this way of playing and stuff, do I have faith in that a 31-year-old, we're looking at it and saying, all right, cool, he's going to help us for now, but we're looking for that box to box, man. We're doing this, we're doing that. I don't know. I just think this is issues. Obviously as well, I can't lie, people, I'm not really feeling the ex-teammates of Mikel Arteta as well. It's just, you know, it's worked for Chambers, and big up Chambers. It's worked to a degree for El Nene. It didn't work for Ozil, so it doesn't really lead claim. But I'm very careful of when man are picking their former players and former Coldies and all of those sort of things, people. Again, that's just me. Apparently he's made what exactly, and this is it as well, people. He's had 2 subpar years in Italy. It ain't really worked out. He's made 46 appearances. That's not good enough over 2 years, in my opinion, people. Apparently earlier this month he said it's been really frustrating. It's been pretty frustrating couple years for me, picking up little injuries and not being able to get back to full fitness. And again, he's still got 2 years left, so they're gonna have to make a decision on him really soon. You know, and again, he secured the bag. Shout out to his agent, because the agent must have got a lovely commission off that, people. So without Champions League football and the prospect of any European football, it doesn't make sense. For me, we need to reset. Can you find someone max 26 that can be ingrained for the best part of a couple of years? I don't mind bringing in someone 30, 31, because that can be utilized, but it's like Arsenal don't plan. We bring in a David Luiz where we should be saying, yo, you know what, next 2 years or a year, you're the stopgap. We're looking at a next one. Saliba and Gabriel, you lot are going to develop. No, we're going to put all our eggs in that basket to the point where it appears like the club are threatening that David Luiz is going. Is there a contingency plan in that regards? Aubameyang, is there the contingency plan? You know, Ramsey, which I want to see midfield sorted. You know, I wouldn't be against bringing him on loan, paying part of his wages and using that as some sort of depth for next season. But again, next season for me, it's the chance to reset, assuming we're not in Europe, you know, go back to basics, really pattern up the DNA of this team. Who is the midfielders? What is the midfield about? Centre half the same, you know, and defense, the spine of the team. I personally think there's a lot of attacking things we can do, but I'm of the belief attacking players work out themselves. Good players link up well with players, and I know players haven't been in consistent form, and I don't think it's easy and all these things, but I just think fixing our problems in the final third, that can be done down to coaching and just allowing these players to do their freedom thing and all these things. There needs to be better players brought in. There needs to be serious coaching. For me personally, I'll lose hope in next season early on if we start that season and I don't see a proper midfield pivot. I'm done. Obviously, I hope that season, you know, I'll still support and it goes on. But that's for me where I look at myself and I'll call myself an idiot if I expect change, because that would tell me we're doing the same practices and I expected something different. So we'll have to see. And again, it doesn't make sense. And it doesn't make sense. Yeah, you can go and look back at iconic moments of Ramsey, but again, I'm a big fan of Aaron Ramsey, like you see with the tweets and everything. But I do think people look at his Arsenal career with rose tints, because again, the clips look great, but how many real consistent standout seasons has he had? Not just little moments, consistent seasons. Obviously, there was that one where he was scoring goals for fun. I'm sure he scored a very decent goal against Norwich. How many times has he been consistent? And as well, it's all about what you're not doing when you're not scoring. And how many appearances were there where Aaron Ramsey wasn't necessarily scoring, where he was playing well? You know, the two were quite correlated. I think he's got a lot to his game than just scoring. I think he's a better builder from deep than people give him credit for. But is it levels? Probably not, people. So that's that on Aaron Ramsey. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, people. Please make sure you're hitting the like button and you're checking out the pinned message. Watch Along Business. What are you lot saying, people? What's good, Deluded? Ahmad, I'm good, my guy. I hope you have the same. A man said, even if we have a slim chance of Europa, the players need to go for it. Facts. Hey, DG, what do you think about Areola? Well, boy, after what Cavani did to him yesterday, whether the goal should stand or not, I know he makes good saves and that, but I don't really rate him. It's not that I think he's rubbish. I think he's a Premier League standard goalie, but I don't really rate man like that, really, if I'm completely honest with you. I can't lie to you lot. Sandro said, bro, we didn't know Ramsey's. Big up Sandro as well. Make sure you lot are taking him in on Spotify and all of that. You know, he makes raps and music and all those sort of things. Make sure you're taking the boy in. He's an Arsenal man, so go and do what he wants. Obviously, if you want Daniel Ek to buy the club, make sure you're doing up Spotify as well. Make sure you're doing up the DG podcast on that also. But Sandro has said, bro, we didn't know Ramsey's position till we left. Wasn't disciplined enough for the pivot, not creating enough in the 10 and wasted out wide. What do we miss by the fact he's bringing goals from midfield? And that's my point, you know. Arguably, that's a very important trait that we need in this club, but that's it for me as well, my bro. Like, that's what I was saying about rose tints. Like, I'm a big Ramsey fan. I do think he's better in the 10, offers a bit more creative and a bit more discipline than man giving credit for, but wholeheartedly agree. You know, we're going to bring in a player where it's rose tints. And again, if we're going to do this thing against, you know, how we win these big games, we've beat Chelsea twice, we've done these isolated moments. Yeah, it'll look good. He might score the goal in that, but it's about what we're doing in the thick of it. And, you know, Ramsey's a big game. He's on this thing and all those things, but I need to know what we're doing against Wolves, what we're doing against Leeds, what we're doing against Watford next season, you know, week in, week out. To be fair, when we're playing against low blocks, Ramsey like Joe Willock even, you know, them little runs in behind, you do need a man to do that, but it's like you said, 31, don't know what he's on really and truly, if I'm completely honest with you. Fantastic point. And this is what I'm saying, you know, again, I knew I wasn't bugging out. There was only one real consistent goal scoring season. That's what I meant earlier with the prolonged business. So this is what I mean again with rose tints. When you look down at it, it's a bit of a mad one, really and truly. But everyone's allowed their opinion. Daniel is saying, bring back King Rambo. I wouldn't be against it. I wouldn't be against it. I respect a man's wife. That's my manager. Leave his wife, man. What's all of that, man? Mikel Arteta, shout out to you. Do your thing with your family, man. We don't talk about people's wives unless they're being disrespectful. And Arteta ain't been disrespectful to me. But you know, man, a chocolate darling and all those sort of things. So you can answer that question yourself. Could Ramsey sit next to Partey? Bro, it's better than what we could probably do now. But I'm not really on that really, because Ramsey is indisciplined. He's gonna bust out, like he's gonna run off, you know. And then what? And for me, it's all about the timing. You know, I don't mind that fact that he's box to box, but Ramsey's quite indisciplined. He don't time when to do all of that and when to keep it stum. There's been isolated incidences, but it is what it is, man. if we had Ramsey during the last 3 matches under Emre, we would have got top 4. Facts, bro. If you had a vagina, you'd be a woman. You know, if you are a woman, if you got a willy, you'd be a man. If some buts, I can't deal with that. Facts are we didn't, man. If we had Thierry Henry when Ozil was setting up shots for Giroud on a plate, bro, Ozil might have got 50 assists in a calendar season. And even that, I have a tough way agreeing with you, my guy, because that implies that we had 3 games and we messed it up, which you're not wrong. But the whole season, there was times we're drawing unnecessarily, losing unnecessarily. So I'm not too sure. And Ramsey's been part of the F3 as well. Please make sure you're hitting up the like button, though, people. Apparently, a couple people are not doing their jobs in that regards. Where are we at in terms of the likes? We're not even at 100 yet, people. We're at 77. Come on, you lot are better than that, man. You lot are way better than that. It's not a coincidence. Make sure you're checking out the description for all information in relation to the ad you guys just saw. But going back to Ryan is saying it's not a coincidence that a lot of players that leave Arsenal want to go back. Fabregas, Alexis, Ramsey, and more. I hear you, and I do think maybe 10. Wait, let me say 10. What's that? 2011. Maybe that rang true then, but I'm not too sure, my guy, because one. With exception to Fabregas, have you got anything to back up these claims? We're just going off paper talk. Ramsey wants to come back. You know, we're just going off paper talk. Alexis Sanchez wants to come back. Really, does Alexis want to come back? Yeah, obviously the grass went greener on the other side. But in the grand scheme of things, when he's retired, he got the bag. Says Fabregas, obviously, allegedly, Wenger says before I even got wind of that Chelsea, he wanted to leave. Chelsea move was done up. Certain man say he was waiting on Arsenal. We said we got this guy and that guy. Once again, I believe both sides, but there's 3 sides to every story, which is the truth. So unless God Almighty tells me what happens, I can only go after that. So is there anything to really back up these claims, people? And Ryan, and at the same time, I don't know if this is your thinking, but you could play devil's advocate and say, why? Can't you, man, go to these other clubs, with the exception of United with Alexis, because at the time they weren't serious. There's question marks. It's cozy here. You can be inconsistent here. You can do all of those sort of things, man. Ramsey is a baller, but past his prime. I don't even think past his prime. I just think the finances, the way the man is, I just think it's long, really and truly, Hey, free Palestine each and every time. Lovely. Keep flying that flag. I would take Bertrand on a 2-year deal as backup DG. If we can't do any better, why not? But for me, I have no doubt Brian Bertrand wants to be professional, wants to be good, wants to do this, wants to do that. But if I'm playing devil's advocate, again, I remember reading a newspaper article, whether it's true or not, said the man plays for Southampton, but he still has lived in London. So that tells me London's his thing. Or immediately return to London, closer to your family, obviously, all of those sort of things. 32 could sign, William got a 3-year deal. I'd be pushing for a 3-year deal from Ryan Bertrand as well. Obviously, you got Arsenal on the CV to go with Chelsea. I get it, but it don't send out good looks to me. For me, I'll get it if you're not going to get anybody, but I have a tough time agreeing with it because you could have done that in January and you didn't bring someone in because allegedly you wanted to get someone younger. You bring Bertrand in. What does that tell me? You weren't able to identify suitable targets. Okay, that happens. But why? You've had all season to find a young left back at all levels. Why couldn't you? Yeah, you could say nobody's levels, but I would say, where are you looking? Because players are everywhere. It's like money, money is everywhere. Money is in everything. You can make money from anything. It's just how you look and where you look. So are we looking for these players? Again, longevity. Again, you would, when you pay cheap, you have to pay twice over because you're going to be paying him a decent wage and you're adding to your problems because you're going to have to look for a backup left back in a year or so. So go out and find one that's levels. If you want to buy yourself some time with bringing him in, I'm all on that. And again, I'm not doubting Ryan Bertrand's integrity, but it just don't look good to me personally, man. And this is it. It's like Arsenal is like shopping on the about to go out of date trolley. This is it, my guy. Fully that, man. 2 days off work, managed to catch you live. Big up yourself, Faddy. Big up all the members, and hope you're enjoying your days off, man. The only thing about re-signing Ramsey is that he loves the club, but for us, this isn't the right decision, bro. I don't even care if man love the club. Like, obviously, from a fan point of view, I would love them to all love the club, want to die for Arsenal, but it's a job. Do you lot all love the jobs you're at? Do you all love the companies? No, you don't. But I'm pretty sure there's a lot of you that are ingrained in the company's successes. You know, you're managing the project, you're doing well. Why? Because you're handling yourself professionally. You're being consistent. You might not care about the club, but you care about your future and what, you know, your own legacy in your own individual fields. That's all I care about. You know, loving the club is dead. Like, it's dead. We all love the club. We all love the club. Don't mean some of us are gonna be great managers or whatever. Like, it's dead, man. Loving it's a business, innit? If I know you never bought, with all due respect, big up the Arsenal fans from everywhere, but just to paint a picture, if you wasn't born in Islington, North London, you don't come from a family of Arsenal fans, then for me, I can't expect you to love the club. It's a business. Man are from Cardiff. Like, he's a Cardiff fan. Man can tell me they watched Henry and all these things. It's like Jack Wilshere, blatant West Ham fan. Now they say follow Arsenal. That's cool, but I just care if you're doing your job. You know, for all we know, I'm not saying it's the truth. Xhaka could bloody hate Arsenal Football Club, you know, but he don't show it on the pitch. So loving the club, it's, you know what it is, that loving the club thing. It's like when man say, oh, he works hard, he does this. These are things you should be doing. These are rose tints fans like to look at, man. I'm not blown away by Ramsey coming back, but he would improve our midfield. I agree with that, but it's like, again, it would cloud for me. It would cloud the midfield, because I still don't know what we're about, man. You know, I think we're all in agreement generally bringing back Ramsey, no matter how much we love him, wouldn't be levels. I love Ramsey. I back him from the start, but to have him back now makes no sense. Big up DG and everyone in the chat. Nobody is paying him 400k per week if there's a transfer fee. Exactly. That's why for me, I'm just on the loan thing. Yeah, I don't mind bringing him in on loan. You bring him in on loan, maybe a loan fee, pay a part of those wages, hopefully an extreme little part of those wages, which Juventus probably won't allow, because even 50% is 200k. You know, I'm trying to pay like 80 bags, and that ain't gonna happen without a proper loan fee. So it's probably a myth, man. It's probably a myth. No need for Ramsey no more. Big up DG, opened my YouTube and saw your live, got me good, my bro. Appreciate that, man. You know, I'm like a bad smell, I don't go away, man. You know, please make sure you're checking out the pin message, because watch along business as well. So yeah, man, I think we're all in agreement. The Ramsey thing is dead. You know, it's not making sense, man. These type of moves are why Arsenal are where they are, bro. 100% agree. Are we signing Grealish? I would love to sign Grealish, P, but that's a myth, man. If you ain't got 80 bags to get a conversation started, it's a myth. And arguably, as much as I love Grealish, you know, he's not a he's a creme de la creme player. You know, you need to make sure, like I said, the things are in place. You know, we could bring in Grealish, which I'm all for it. I listen, if we could afford it, but you still ain't got a certified midfield behind him. So he's still going to, like Ozil, like you see Odegaard and Smith Rowe, he's still going to be dropping deep to the centre halves to get the ball. You know, we can have as much Grealish as we want, but when the ball goes into the defensive half and we've got centre halves who can't head, keepers who can't catch, right backs who just can't right back, it's peak. So let's like I always say, let's get the right. If this club was a house, let's make sure there's right plumbing. You know, can we take if we need to go do a number 2, can we flush the toilet? These sort of things. You know, can we take a shower? You know, make sure there's gas. Can we cook our food? Is there electricity? You know, are the walls properly insulated? And is the foundations of the house cool? So if we're in this house, no one's gonna end up dead because it's not gonna collapse. These things are great. You know, Grealish is a flat screen TV. He's an elite flat screen TVs, a PS5. There's no point having PS5 if the electric's cutting out all the time. So as much as I want him and as much as I don't think it's a case, we need to get back to basics, man. Now you have to love the club, bro. When you look at Liverpool, everyone plays with their heart on the sleeves. Well, to play with your heart on your sleeves, you don't have to love the club. You know, it doesn't mean that, you know, loving the club. Do they love the project? Do they love the fans? Do they love the manager? Do they love the environment? That's completely different, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm sure they've all got admiration for these clubs, but Bobby Firmino didn't grow up in Brazil, Liverpool fan. Neither did Mane in Senegal. You can learn to love, but these things are irrelevant. The difference is them players there, they've got pride in their performance. They're all trying to leave their own legacies, you know, whether that's Salah in the Prem, some man just want to win things, some man just want to be consistent. They all, at all levels, they all want to be consistent. So does Klopp. So that's why it takes care of itself, you know. And who, you know, you don't even know if they love it or not. You know, we all think they love it because they're kissing the badge and things. They're footballers with jobs, you know. They don't necessarily have to love the club. As long as they appreciate the project they're in, appreciate the club they're in, and try hard, who bloody cares? So I agree with you. You do need to love the club. I'd love everybody to love the club. But if you don't love the club and you're consistent and these things, then I don't care. Like I said, if a man is not, if in an Arsenal case, if you're not born in Islington, North London, big up all the international Gooners, you ain't got family, your dad, you know, you might live in America, but your dad was an Arsenal fan. I can't expect you. These men are businessmen. These men are footballers, you know. It is what it is in that regards for me, man. That's it, but I welcome all opinions. Bit harsh, Ramsey will be another Willian or Ozil thing. He just wants money, not us. I don't think it's that. I just think he wants an easy ride coming to Arsenal because Juventus, again, you're doing poor stuff. They're onto you. Big up all the Qatar Gooners as well. I appreciate you guys. You know, some interesting comments flowing through from everyone, man. You know. Would you keep Guendouzi or sell him, bro? Thingy, Arteta's got no time for him, so you might as well just sell him, put on a sell-on clause, and we keep it moving. It's as simple as that. But I would like him to stay personally, but that one day is done. This is it, bro. For me, you know, we're going back to the Liverpool thing. Mane doesn't want to be a joke, man. He's motivated by doubters and obviously coming from tough beginnings and all of those things, you know. Remember, everyone rates Mane now. Remember, people used to brown nose him at Southampton. Firmino, the same sort of logic. Salah, they say, well, not really, but Salah, the same sort of logic. So them man are motivated. Way before you talk about Liverpool, there's bare reasons for them to want to move serious. And like I said, love is just an extra thing for me. If you do the job, I don't care, you know. I kind of speak to people and be involved. You'll be surprised how many footballers actually don't like their teammates, actually don't like their manager, actually don't like a lot. The thing is, they just need to do a job. Please stop spamming people. You know, it's not going to get your questions answered or anything. You're messing up the nice little thing that we've got going on, people. You know, please allow it. Shout out to the Indians as well. You know, the Indian Gooners as well. You know, big up yourself, P. No clue what chai time means, but shout out to you lot, man. And this is it fundamentally. Big up all the Trinidad ones as well. I appreciate my Trinidad and Tobago supporters. You're overrating Ramsey if you guys think he's a baller. I think that's a bit harsh. You can think Ramsey's a baller, but still just not want him in, you know. Generally not correlated to Ramsey, but we're putting too much expectation on Smith Rowe, and this is what we do with young and old. Like obviously, Aubameyang is made to is the goal scorer and is paid to score, and isn't doing it. But we expect him to score all the goals. We expect one defender to show us up defensively. We expect one midfielder to change our fortunes. We expect all the creativity on Smith Rowe. It's like fans don't understand it's a squad game. They only understand it when there's bare injuries and all of these things. Ramsey don't have to start. Good squad player. AM, I hear that, but I can't like anything less than a competent sort of looking to start him. Then it doesn't make sense for me bringing him in. Like we can't, for his age, the wages, squad player is dead for me. You know, we should be looking at man that are going to improve this thing. Ramsey takes games by the scruff of its neck. We don't have guys like that. Gone off past glory. To be fair with you, how many times literally did Ramsey do that? I agree, but again, this is what I mean with rose tints, bro. How many times did he do that? Really and truly, how many times did Aaron Ramsey do that? You know, Spurs, FA Cup, couple times. You know, how many times? He weren't doing that week in, week out. I'm not too sure. And again, 200 odd M's and that. I'm not too sure. AM, I'm not too sure, man. Big up DG. No players love the club as much as us fans. Gooner for life, and that's it, bro. Them man there don't grow up Arsenal fans. Even if they do, when you're in that environment, it's different. You know, I love Bukayo Saka. I'm sure he's an Arsenal fan, but there might come a time in this guy's life when he's going to have to make a decision for himself. You know, it's a business sort of thing. I'm sure Kane loves his adopted club as much as he can in Spurs, you know, one of his own and all of that sort of stuff. I know you're really an Arsenal fan. He don't care about that. Football career is short. Like, if we just did everything fans want or just cared about fans' opinion, you're not going to have the season you want, you know, because what? Many players, you know, imagine Harry Kane if he said, no, I don't want to leave Spurs, and he just said, because the Spurs fans love me and that. He's going to get to 35. Obviously, they might win a trophy, hopefully not. But when it's his time to bust out, what's he going to get? Are the club going to show the same loyalty to Kane that he showed? No. They're going to give him a testimonial, give him a little, you know, YouTube clip and farewell and that, and then that's it. That's how the world works. That's not football. That's how the world works. So this whole love in the club business, it's a bit subjective depending on the way you look at it, people there, man. Nostalgia's a dangerous thing, bro. Nostalgia, nostalgia is dangerous, but I wouldn't mind it. But again, man can't tell me 10 games Ramsey's done that. And that's, again, I'm a Ramsey fan, but man can't sit here and say 10 games Ramsey pulled the games by the scuff of its neck. I can start man off if they want to start. What, when he done this thing against Spurs, this is my effing pitch, this is my effing pitch. Something tells me Arsenal versus Napoli or something like that in the Europa League. I could be wrong. Obviously, we all know the FA Cup final against Chelsea and against Hull. Bro, I gave you four. Can someone rise up another 6? This is it. And even if it's just 10, bro, there's 38 Premier League games. So it's a bit mad in that regards, man. It's a bit mad. It's a bit mad. I can't lie, man. I disagree when people... I just think people overstate Ramsey's ability and what he offered, but his legacy has to stay there. I don't think he's a legend. He's a fan favorite and that. He's not a legend, but you have to rate what he's given the cause, man. And like, I was riding with Ramsey when people used to call him dead. Hey, I'll give you another one. I'm sure he scored a banger against... Man United at the Emirates when he was actually rubbish as a footballer, and he's also done that against Liverpool. You know, he done it against Liverpool as well. But again, you know, Sandro, not to draw you out, but did you hit transfer mark? Did you hit Did you type in Aaron Ramsey's best moments on YouTube or Google, or did man boom straight off the top of your head? If that, fair play, but that's my point. Rose tints. And this is it as well, this is where we can agree with many things, you know. Let's be real, for all Ramsey's faults, on his best days, he's better than everyone in our current midfield. I don't think he's better than Partey, but 100% agree. But if we start looking at it on that logic, then the bar is low, because we could bring in Bearman of that logic as well. Shout out to Ramsey for the Galatasaray goal, but we was through already. I remember Maitland-Niles got minutes in that game and that, and I swear Gideon Zelalem and that as well. And now Gideon Zelalem's doing a Chelsea YouTube thing, really and truly. You know, big up the Liberian Gooners and everywhere. You know, Ramsey's perfect for Arsenal. If you believe that, that's cool. That's cool. That goal against Fulham, that I ain't gonna call that pull it. It's a great moment, but that's not bringing games by the scuff of its neck for me. That's just a great goal, man. Bro, had to leave the stream and look up these great performances people in the chat are talking about, because I thought I was bugging when I thought he was dead all these years. He's not dead, but again, it's like what C had, nostalgia and revisionist in history. Ramsey's not and never was that guy, even if fans want him to be. Yeah, I think you're being a bit harsh in the second, my guy, but yeah, broski. And this is it, man. Now he can fill a squad role, AM, but we can't be bringing them man in for squads. We got too many of these players. When you look at them in isolation, I don't actually think a lot of them are bad players. Like, there's only one footballer off the top of my head who plays for Arsenal where I think, yo, how are you a professional footballer? A couple of them, they might have their faults. I look at them, you're actually decent, you're all right. But it's like, when you add them all together, if everybody's of a squad player level, suddenly it's mediocre, man. It's mediocre. It's absolutely meaty, man. Man, you got enough to say. Let it out, my guy. Everyone's got... This is like Yasser said, there's too much squad dunnies, man. We got DG. I think we need to move on. We're on the Camavinga thing. Bro, I hope AFC Bell and them, man, they're all right with the Camavinga thing, because this is the sort of stuff that we need. these are the sort of guys that we need. You get me? Resale value, a sick baller. I know he's missed out on a France place in the Euros, and he's been underwhelming this season. He's got a lot to learn. But these are the sort of guys, man. These are the sort of guys. Or listen, I think two different players, but you bring in a Basuma, and that's better than bringing in Ramsey, because I know what I'm getting with Basuma. If you throw me a midfield of Basuma and Partey, don't get it twisted. You're suddenly relying on your you know, maybe even your fullbacks to offer a lot more creativity. That number 10 has to produce a lot of chances, you know. But that I know what I'm getting with a midfield like that. Mate, one day Ramsey's on a deep line playmaker thing, then it's a box to box, then he's looking clueless like everyone. I'm on that sort of stuff. And yeah, I can't lie, man. With respect, I actually like Hector Bellerin. You know, he's quote unquote Haaland, arrived from Spain. You know, I don't think he's as bad as people make out. I do think he gets scapegoated. But I was riding for Bellerin, and I still somewhat do. I admire him off the field. Like, he wants to be himself. You know, I think he does some good causes, but he's the only one off the top of my head I look at and I'm like, yo, like, you really are stealing a living here. I cannot see how you're a Premier League footballer at this moment. Like, you've regressed a lot. Like, I'm not even trying to get him. And there's a lot of bad players at Arsenal. Bellerin's the only one I really look at and I'm like, wow. Like, really, wow. Like, really, wow. Because I'm not even trying to take the piss out of Bellerin. But, you know, apart from Sheffield United, where, again, maybe if it's Sheffield of old, you're not getting into their defence. Who's he getting into? He can play for Fulham. He can play for Sheffield. He's not, bro. You're not playing at Brighton. You're not playing at Southampton. Pardon me. You're not playing at Leeds. You might bag a little Leeds thing. You know, you might be able to be the new translator for Bielsa post game. I don't know. And that's not, I just think that's just what I believe. You know, I don't even think, I feel El Nene's meaty, but like, he's not Bellerin. Man, maybe it's because I'm a fullback, but I cannot see what he brings to the table. I can't. All the best performances with Bellerin so far this season have been to deal with wage cuts and all those things off the pitch, where I salute you, but as a fan, I shouldn't really be worrying about that. I should be dealing with what's in front of me. Make sure you're hitting the like button, man. DG with the right back eye check. Maybe, you know, maybe. Am I wrong? Is Bellerin the only one that's thrown into that? I don't know, man, but he's the only one I look at. It's like, I look at El Nene, I'm like, you're a cool guy, so I allow you. You're calm, you're a decent player, but you're not levels. Bellerin, I'm like, wow, like, you don't. It's not like he's a fullback where he just flies forward and he's mad rubbish defensively. He's not like he's a defensive forward. He can't offer nothing going forward. I'd rather have something like that, because then you know where you stand. Sometimes he looks like the Bellerin of old. Sometimes he looks like a Spanish Danny Mills. I'll be real with you lot. Sometimes I'm like, bro, like I said, Bielsa translator. It's looking mad in that regard, you know. That's just where I am with that, people. But feel free to disagree and all that sort of stuff, man. And maybe it's because, again, I'm not trying to, this is why I'm careful. I don't want this to become a Bellerin hate campaign and any of those sort of things. But defense is fundamental to what we want to do as a football. The rain's starting to pee down. I don't know if you lot can hear it, people. It's a bit mad. Defense is fundamental to what Arsenal Football Club want to do, right? Bro, Bellerin, what are you doing? And for me, it's the simple fact is, bro, let's be real. Arsenal fans were shameless with it, but there was a second we used to say Bellerin best in the league, and a couple times used to move like that. And then I've seen Trent, Wan-Bissaka, Reece James, James Justin, Lamptey. Help me out if I'm missing anyone else, people. But all these guys have come out of the woodwork in their own little time, and they've overlapped him, and we're talking about them. We can throw Max Aarons into that because Norwich are there now. They've all let them out. I hear that, Toby, injuries have set him back, and I think there's a lot of psychological issues with Bellerin and belief. But no, man, because being injured or not, you should be able to play a 5-yard pass. You should be able to understand overlapping. It's not just his ability, it's the football IQ. And some way around that, you have to take responsibility. It's the footballing IQ. It's like he's too overawed and that. Bro, Xhaka might not be people's cup of tea, but let's not act like Xhaka is a bad footballer, innit? He's just not levels. He just should be a squad player at best. But, you know, let's be serious, man. You know, I don't think he's levels. I don't like how Bellerin people get him for the fashion and all those sort of things, but it's what it is, man. You should be able to take a throw in as well. You should be able to take a throw in. Like, I don't know what it is with Bellerin, but like my man said, not to lead it, but struggles to pass and plays the simple pass. You know, Callum Chambers, Arsenal fans, we're loving it. Just because he overlaps, we're loving it. Is it any coincidence that anytime Pepe is played with a Maitland-Niles or a Chambers, he's been significantly better. It's like Saka's game also has to get messed up because you can see it. Saka knows I'm not getting too many passes in behind. I have to come deep and get on the halfway line, and I have to back this guy defensively. You know, I can't see it. I really can't. And you know, it wouldn't surprise me if Bellerin left and he went somewhere and be like, wow, where was that to Bellerin at Arsenal? I think he needs it. I always give the toxic relationship between, you know, a man and a woman. Like there might be a man and a woman there in a relationship, you know, they break up, the man's blossoming, you know, he's lost weight, you know, he's done everything and all those things. The woman's now glamorous, you know, she found a man that loves her and all these things, and her personal life is flying. They're both flying. They didn't fly together. I think that's what Arsenal need. I need a right back who can give me confidence consistently. Bellerin, you know, if you go to Italy and you can't defend, then you can't improve. Then boy, it's all on you, because that's the university of defending. So if you can't do that, it's a problem, man. And that's it. It's off the field. You know, do I think Bellerin's dedicated to his craft? Of course, but we ain't got time for this, man. We don't have time for these guys now. I don't even think he needs that. Bellerin looks like he needs to sort out the confidence issues, get back to basics, and be consistent. And it just, everyone at this football club, including Arteta, you just been reiterating his shit in his people and just gassing him up again. But moving away from that, though, people, we spent a long time on Aaron Ramsey. There's 314 of you locked in. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, people. As you lot know, we've got reactions and watch-alongs to come, so make sure you're all there. I mean, obviously, drop these links in the description, you know, while we move on to a next player. Yeah, so where should we, just because I like to make timestamps for you guys, people, because we're going mad. We're actually going mad. Let's go to this. Where did we finish talking about Aaron Ramsey? Let's just say 45. That's a madness. Absolute madness. These are other rumors in case we ran out, so we'll leave that for another day. You know, I love to do live streams like this because I think it's a bit different and things like that. But before we carry on, what else are you lot saying? Chambers plays simple cross against West Ham and we call him the English Cafu that says everything about Bellerin. Bro, a centre half who accidentally, well, he went to Fulham and started playing again in midfield and now plays right back. He's better than you as a right back. Maitland-Niles don't even know where he wants to play in midfield, really. You know, midfield or whatever. He's better than you there. Cedric, I think Cedric's better than you there, you know. Bro, the only one you're probably better than is when we tried to run them Mustafi and Socrates agendas there, you know. Bellerin's quicker than man and that, but, you know, I can't lie. He's probably better, but I back the way I've seen it, I back myself. Like you and Jenkinson, I back myself against you, man. You know, if we had the same time and development, I'm not saying I'll be amazing, but I back myself. Like, and you know me, I'm never the guy who's gonna sit here and say that. So when I look at it and I back myself, I think you're in an issue. You know, I think you have a problem. I back myself. The way Arsenal's right back thing is moving, I'm trying to throw my hat into that ring, people. You know, and hopefully I can get one good game before we get mashed up, before I get absolutely destroyed in that, and then you lot say DG, I wouldn't mind it, man. And this is it as well. Don't care about what Hector gets up to in his own time. That's his business. But he's got worse, not better. He's not good enough for us. This is it, bro. We need Max Aaron's Lamptey, someone that understands, okay, my midfield got the ball. Let me make a run. Or the ball's coming to my right winger. I might want the ball, but if he doesn't, let me make a run so that somebody who's left-footed on the right-hand side can make space. It's the football IQ for me. It's not believing in yourself. We ain't got time for that, man. We haven't got time for that. Sam Maxi would be in DG's pocket. No. When we play against them, man, I'm injured still, James, bro. Big up yourself for the confidence spot. No. I ain't chat. Imagine playing against Sam Maxi, me and all of them guys. Mahrez, boy, Myth. It's a fouling thing. It's just a red card. It's just a pride thing, man. You know, I just can't go out like that, man. But yeah, let's move on with some of this stuff, people. Let's crack on with some more. So we've spoken about Ramsey. What else is this? Joe Willock and Newcastle. Let's get into that one, people. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. Let's call this 47 minutes. Let's get into Joe Willock, people. So as you lot can see here, or you can't see because I've removed it, but as you lot can see here, it's something we've already known. You know, we've got a tough decision to make with Joe because, like I said, me personally, all options are open. I am leaning towards more selling because it's nothing to do with Joe. It's just selling Joe. He might go off to be a bad boy footballer and stuff, but getting 25, 30 odd million for him, that means we could get an hour. That means we could have more money to grab a Basuma or do whatever so we can move closer to having that first choice midfield pivot. That's where I think harsh decisions have to be made. So if selling Joe to do that is calm, you know, as you lot know, Joe's got the physical stats and the running power and stuff like that. Is Joe going to be able to replicate this season? Are we going to get the Newcastle Joe Willock? I don't know, because it's two different roles. You had Joe at Arsenal's playing as a cam, but he's not playing the cam role like Smith Rowe. It's a striker pressing. Sometimes he even played false nine. You know, when the game was hella open and Joe gives you energy, that's great. At Arsenal, that's not going to be too many games. I need to know, can Joe pick out a pass in a low block? Can he do these sort of things? Is Arteta going to play him the same way he's played him versus Steve Bruce playing him in a pivot, letting him do the box-to-box thing? I haven't learned too much about Joe Willock technically. He scored a lot of goals. He's got a lot of confidence. I wouldn't say you have to discount the goals, but when you look at them without emotion, has he necessarily played amazing the whole game? No. This is just me looking at it without emotion. Are we going to get the same Joe Willock? That's where I lean towards more selling him, where I lean towards loaning him, because I think he has the ability to surprise people. And loaning him out could mean a first-team player either next year or the year before. It could mean a couple more zeros on his price tags, or keeping him. We haven't got someone what can do what Joe has, the box-to-box. Where the problem is in that is if there's a low block, yes, you still need someone to make midfield runs, but suddenly you need your midfielder to offer something on the ball. So I'm not too sure that's the case. Aston, I think you're living a bit of a movie there. Newcastle are not going to buy him, agree to a sell-on clause and a buyback clause. We'll get the sell-on clause, but it is what it is in that regards, man. So everything's on the line for me with Joe. And for Joe, he needs to ask himself. Arteta can say he loves you, he believes in you and all of this, but Arsenal need a midfielder. Let's be real. It's not Joe Willock. It's not Joe Willock. It's not Joe Willock. Joe Willock can be in the squad, but it's not Joe Willock. Joe Willock is not the man to partner Partey at this moment in time. He might be, but he's not. So that's for Joe's to consider. There's probably another midfielder coming in at this club. If I'm Joe Willock as well, I'm sure the club believe in you, but you're probably going to stay temporarily, or you might get your move in the latter stages because there's too much question marks. If Xhaka wants to go, and I don't know if Xhaka's career is going to be sorted out before the Euros. I don't know if he wants to have his career sorted before that, go to the Euros and then decide his future. Tobias and Odegaard at this moment, we're getting out, you know, they're getting sent back. El Nene's got a year left. He'll probably be allowed to run out his deal, but he's not levels. Apart from Partey, there's question marks. I would love the option of having Partey and Joe Willock game by game. I want Joe to stay and be part of the squad, but like I said, sometimes we might have to make cool decisions to be kind. I admire what Joe brings. The problem is, how many times am I going to see that box-to-box effort, really? How many times is that going to be utilized? Not too many. Over a 38 game calendar, I'm going to need to see what you got on the ball. So I think all options should be on the table, and it's down to Joe, because yeah, Arsenal have loved you, been here since 6 and stuff, but you've got to look at it without emotion. You're playing on a regular basis for Newcastle. Like, you're actually training and having a chance of playing. To a degree, because of where you're at, it don't really matter how good you play and whatnot. You're not going to be there. Obviously, he got his chance last season off the back of the Europa, and then we played poor against Leeds. Also, there's no Europa League, so suddenly it's this, and we have to double down on the league. And, you know, I think I want to keep Joe, but at this moment in time in 2021, do I see May 2021? Do I see Arsenal competing for top 4 next season with Joe Willock and Partey as a midfield pivot? No. Can I see it competing with Joe in the squad being used? Of course. But Joe needs to ask himself, you're playing on a regular basis to potentially being a squad player. I know what I would do. You know, you've spoken of wanting to play for England and stuff. It's only going to happen playing on a regular basis. And there's Newcastle. And even when I look at it, Joe's been amazing. But there's been, you know, why were you dropped to the bench on a couple of occasions? Was it rotation? Have you lost something? Joe's a good player. And I told you, look, don't write him off. But I just think there's a lot of history being rewritten. There's a lack of balance. It's either sell Joe now, get rid of him, blah, or it's the guy's amazing, when the truth is in the middle, in my opinion. Bruce has said himself he's an Arsenal player, and we respect that. We have conversations with Arsenal. Lots of clubs will digest what's going on. To be fair, that's good for Arsenal. Bidding war, we need that. Not too many of our players have bidding wars. We would like transfers to be done early, but we have to respect he is Arsenal's, and we'll have dialogue with them. So again, if it can be done, they want to get it done. For Arsenal, you know, we need to sell players to bring in players, but also for Joe, there's probably other careers at this club that need to be decided, you know, admittedly, if you're going to sell Joe and bring in an Hour and Basuma or one of the two quick time, then I get it. But one has to wonder, I can't see Joe being sold without sorting out what's going on with Torreira, Guendouzi, people of Maitland-Niles, people of that ilk. Once they're gone, then I think we could look at Joe Willock's future. And I think Joe Willock, out of all of them, his is the toughest summer because he deserves to be part of this thing, but he needs to have an honest conversation with Arteta. And what I would say to Joe is he's at the age now. Don't let man promise you something. Look at it without emotion. And like I said earlier, you need to do what you need to do so that a year from now you're a dramatically better player. You know, this was half a season at Newcastle. Where would you get if you start? How many games would you play if you started? You know, you're not going to get in the England recognition, but I'm sure Southgate is aware of your progress. At least there's been a scouting report put on his table now in relation to you. That were happening at Arsenal. You know, you lost your place at Arsenal in the England under-21s to Josh De Silva. Don't think that's going to happen now. You know, so let's see what happens as it goes on, people. And, you know, lovely to see him scoring goals, you know, City, Liverpool, Spurs, good goals to be scoring against people. He said, for someone so young, you can see him enjoying getting a goal. And that's it. No one's going to enjoy being on the bench. You know, I think Joe's already playing catch up because a long time ago, him and Eddie Nketiah should have went and played football. But he said he has added something which we hope, the ability to run forward and score a goal, which at Arsenal you're going to need to do, but there's going to be less of that. That's all gear, no idea. We need a bit of balance with that. To take the ball off Joe Linton and demand to take the penalty he won against City shows his state of mind. He wants to score, be free, run forward and play. He has given us a new dimension. When I see him and Amarin on the distances they cover, it's been a joy to watch, which, again, I'm not going to praise him, man, for covering distance. You're a footballer. You're a midfielder. Should be able to do it. But shout out to what Joe Willock has brought to the table. And that's probably the toughest decision. You know, that's probably one of those where you look at where it's not really as white and black as say it's selling. There's pros and cons to everything. That's a very dodgy one in that regards, people. Moving away from that though, I mean, I know I haven't put it here, but Odegaard speaks on future. What? Could you try again? I don't. I can't lie. I don't. I like it. I like the option of doing it. I like the option of playing it over a 38 game calendar. Do I have belief in that? I'm sorry, but no, it can be an option. But it's not good enough for me. Like it don't offer enough. It really don't offer enough and whatnot. I do think Joe is a bit, I wouldn't say underrated, but I think people sleep on him. And that's what I said earlier. People sleep on him. For me, with Joe Willock now, it's just about getting some, you know, you've got to be more than just box to box. Footballers can't be, I can't praise a man for running around. I'm sorry, but I can't praise a midfielder for running around. He's got something that other players don't have. So if you can marry that with fine-tuning that final pass, timing the runs, you know, Joe Willock would be unstoppable and you'd be closer to the England squad. That's why I want to keep him. I think people sleep on him. And for me, what scares me the most is how Arteta's going to utilize him. Because again, Steve Bruce, he's played him in that deeper role where we've all been saying he should be playing and giving him the responsibility to get forward. Lo and behold, he's putting in better games, you know, and he's looking confident. You're not going to be too confident at Arsenal when you're barely getting chances and you're thrown one, you know, you ain't got minutes in the legs and you know if you don't play 30, you're going to get dropped and things like that. It's not healthy, man. So we'll have to see, man. We'll have to see. I don't think Newcastle would buy him for 40 mil, but I hope he does. I hope he does, man. Willock is a good squad player and he's homegrown. There's a lot worse homegrown players we have. They're all shit, man. But I hear that. It's Arsenal's year next year because Arsenal won't have Europe to distract them. So the treble is on the cards. I'll take your word for that. We can't give Joe Willock the freedom he needs to play well. You know what? Joe could do it himself, but it's just about having that discipline where I'm going to need you to show it, man. I don't think Joe Willock is the answer to our midfield problems, but I definitely feel he can be utilised in the squad equally. Like I said, if selling people... It's a be cruel to be kind thing. If selling Joe Willock means you're bringing in players that are gonna be more to the level, then it's a necessary evil. Joe Willock can leave with his head held high, man. And this is it. I know Joe brings energy. I know he brings goals, but so a couple times I'm just trying to give you lot honesty. He scored goal like Reece Nelson. He scored goals, but the whole 90-minute game hasn't been too good. Like. But I'll leave you lot to draw your own conclusions. I want him to come back, but it is what it is, man. We got to be cruel to be kind, man. Bro, we were saying he's not a 10. If a blind man could see, fair enough, Joe Willock was doing up bare roles in the academy, but the minute he came into the first team at Arsenal, one of my first vids, I said, this guy looks better in the pivot. He looks better when he's got the game in front of him. Defensively, I think he's still got a lot to improve for Newcastle because like against Liverpool a couple of times, like against Leeds, he switches off a lot in defensive phases. But every option should be on the table, man. He's a good player, man. He slept on for no reason, but it is what it is. So yeah, man, that's that. Big up everyone locked in. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. Let's see what Martin Odegaard said on his future, folks. But before we do that, let's just moving away from Joe Willock. Martin Odegaard, what have we got here, people? Martin Odegaard has revealed he will hold, well, we already know this, but Martin Odegaard has revealed he will hold talks with Real Madrid over his future with Arsenal, looking to turn his loan spell into a permanent stay. With no Europe, amazing. Pardon me, the 22-year-old has impressed boss Mikel Arteta. Don't know if he's impressed everyone else. Scrolling forward, people, the Gunners are keen to keep the playmaker in North London, but fear Real Madrid will not entertain any offers for him. I'm sure you've all seen Marca come out today and say all these loan players at Real Madrid are offered a place of are being offered on the market. Those who can't be sold will, and can't find a squad role will be sold. And you'd imagine he'd get a squad role at Real Madrid. And there's rumors Zidane's leaving, so obviously a new manager makes you want to stay. I wouldn't say he set the world alight at Arsenal, but yeah, man, he said apparently to Sky Germany, he said, "I'm happy here at Arsenal. We'll see after the season what will happen. I'm owned by Real Madrid, so we have to speak to them. It's important to understand what they want." As we already know, he said, "I felt at home since the first day. I'm happy to be here. I feel great. So pleased to be part of the team." I wouldn't mind keeping Odegaard on a permanent one. Personally, I'd think I'm only saying that because I know he's a baller. We might be able to get a deal and things like that. But if I'm completely honest with you, it's probably not going to happen because he's got 2 years left. He hasn't really done enough for me to convincingly come out here with my chest and say, buy him permanently. I'm saying buy him because I can't see us doing much better. I think he's adapted. I think he's a good player. I do think he will get better, resale value, all of these reasons. But just related to the football, I don't know, because as I said, when he came in, I was scrutinizing Martin Odegaard a bit more because I'm not wowed by creative play and technical ability. We needed you to come in. We needed that. We needed that. First and foremost, and I expect someone who is a creative midfielder or whatever to have technical ability, to have passing. I'm not wowed by that, and also it's a relationship of convenience. But whatever people say, you came here to play well and show Madrid what you could do. We've messed around, whether it's through transfers or Arteta's stupidity/stubbornness. We've messed around with creativity. He stumbled across Smith Rowe because I don't think he really wanted to play him. We know what happened with Ozil. We tried the Willian. We tried Joe Willock. We tried the flat midfield three. We tried Ceballos in there. All these things didn't happen. And I needed you to hit the ground running. And I've said it before, I don't know where Odegaard's truly at because he looks like, I said it at the start, he looks like an Arsenal player in that he's technically great, but when time gets tough, you can see a man scared. Then there's been times where he's played out of his skin. Leicester, West Ham, Benfica, he's had that patch. He's returned from international break injured, it's been revealed, and he struggled. So is it the injury? If he's gone up at the start, had the purple, he's been meaty at the start, gone up in the middle and been a bit meaty. Was that always his true level? I don't know. We'd have to see. Who knows, people? But that's where I'm at with Martin Odegaard, people. So I don't know, man. He's kept all his aces close to his chest. It comes down to this: you put the money on the table, you have whoever you want. I can't see us getting him on loan again where I can, but surely that's bad business from Real Madrid purely because they're gonna have less money. They're gonna be in a weaker negotiating position and they can walk and things like that. So they're gonna need to decide his future this year. If he is to go on loan again at Arsenal, one would imagine he has to sign a new deal, if that makes sense. So we'll have to see. 355 of you locked in. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. What are you guys saying? We need a proper number 10. Odegaard ain't it. Fekir, Coutinho, or Auer would do well. Auer isn't going to play as a 10. He's going to play as an 8. Coutinho, we're not getting that. Fekir, I wouldn't mind. Bit harsh on Odegaard, but fair play. There's always one virgin spamming the thing, but appreciate everybody else. Might as well take Kane at this rate, bro. To be able to take Kane, you got to afford him. It's not going to happen. Odegaard is clearly not an average player, but he has struggled after his injury. But I don't think Arteta changing formation and style all the time helps him either. It doesn't. But Sometimes he looks like he's motivated and he wants to, you know, things to run through him. Sometimes he looks overawed and scared and all of these sort of things. I don't know, man. Maybe alone. Big up Dean, where you been, man? I hope you're enjoying your painting role, man. I hope you're doing well, Dean. You said I don't think I've ever agreed with anyone as much as I agreed with what DG is saying. Hit the likes, hit them likes, guys. I appreciate that. And I appreciate the fact that you lot agree, disagree, whatever. I just like the engagement. Who would you keep, Nketiah or Willock? Willock, without a doubt. Willock up here, Eddie there. And I think people are writing off Eddie. I think guys are harsh Eddie, but you know, let's just say if both never got loans or moved on in the summer, I can find a role for Joe. I'm not saying I can't find a role for Eddie, but if we have no European football, I can't guarantee you're in the squad, Eddie. Because for me, if I don't even want to mess around with Balogun's game time next season, I'm keen to see that. But Balogun and Martinelli will play up front before you play up front. Joe Willock again, I could use him in the role, in my opinion. So why not, man? But I'd rather Joe without a doubt. I think Eddie, you know, he can leave with his head held high. Let's just put a sell-on clause and do what we need to do, man. It's as simple as that. Would you take McGinn from Aston Villa? Bro, I've been on the McGinn thing. I've been saying that's someone we need to grab. If we improve our movement up top, we can challenge for top four. The lack of movement kills our goal-scoring chances. Yep, that along with just being able to defend, in short, man. I don't want to get into the nuts and bolts of it, but you're fully right in that regards, my dude. You know, shout out to you and whatnot, man. Please make sure you're hitting that like button, people. Let's move on to what we've spoken about, Odegaard. Let's get on to Rob Holding. But just before that, let's get a quick infomercial. Come on. I appreciate everybody for locking in. Obviously, the description or the link I've just dropped, it is what it is. You know, DG, I care about leadership qualities. And Ramsey has that. Our man leading this thing over 38 games. I don't know. Fair play. You're allowed your opinion, man. The players are not motivated, and that's down to the manager to a degree. But I mean, I find that a bit harsh, and that makes me get onto the players a bit more, because you should be motivated. If you're not motivated by wanting to turn Arsenal back into being a top four club, Premier League winning club, all of these things, bro, your personal pride's on the line. You don't have to care about as much as I want you to. You don't care about Arsenal, the fans, and all of these things. That's cool. But can you look in the mirror saying you're playing well? And once again, professional athletes are some of the most reflecting people on this planet, which they should be. So I expect them to. You know, you should be motivated to get top four, to get Arsenal back in the top four, to win trophies. Do I think Klopp had to sit there and motivate them Liverpool, man? No, I think obviously reassurance gasses them, but I don't think he had to gas them players, who some of them have been written off throughout their whole life as footballers. Don't know for any of that, but fair play, man. Everyone's allowed their opinion. Bro, you should be motivated, but it's about self-motivation. Way before somebody can only gas you if you're motivated, you know. You can bring someone to water, but you can't force them to drink. This is why the problem with Arsenal, their motivation is only in isolated moments. You shouldn't need Arteta, you shouldn't need a manager. You shouldn't even, as much as you're right, you should be motivated by the club and all of that, and that should be enough. You should be motivated by yourself. When you get up in the morning and you go to sleep and you look in that mirror, have you accomplished anything? Have you set a legacy? That's all you need, you know. And this is why I don't necessarily care if man love clubs and all of these sort of things, in which I hope they do, but it's crazy. And this is it. You know, don't get twisted. Your manager has to motivate you. It has to motivate you. But it's like Yasser is saying, if you need the manager to motivate you and keep them sort of things up for the whole season, you're just not levels. And for me, that's looking for excuses, you know, because again, you should be motivated. You know, bro, if I'm one of these Arsenal players, bro, I'm part of the first Arsenal team in how many years in my life, 26 years, that ain't played in Europe, that's not going to qualify for Europe, and all these other L's, that just wanting to not be attached to that and build my way out of that, that's motivation. I'm sure Xhaka is motivated by the club, the fans, all of these things. He's a nice lad, but at some level, it's himself. That's just how I feel. Moving away from that, please make sure you're doing up the like button, people. Obviously, please make sure you're here for the watch along later. Let's actually get on to Rob Holding, people. We need to do this, innit, really? You know, Rob Holding has said we owe the fans a lot after this season. Holding admits Arsenal players have let supporters down. Yes, we have. Well, you have, people. You know, you've all let us down in individual ways. You've all talked a good game and not done enough. Is this on the official Arsenal website? Because if not, goal.com. Yeah. Oh, these are old comments, but when I didn't know about none of this. Sorry, goal.com. I'm not giving you free publicity for an article that's not yours. We all know you managed to block everything. I'm not gonna, we've gone over this, but he said we owe the fans a lot after this season. We've let them down a few times. So if we can wrap up some points, wrap up some wins, and give them something to look forward to going into next season. No, Holding, no. That should have been last season. You lot should have built something. And I'm not just blaming you, but these wins against Chelsea, they're winning battles. You're not winning wars, because all that matters. All that matters is where you start and finish. It doesn't matter if you were the best team after Christmas. It don't matter if that metric is positive and that metric is negative. Start of the season, end of the season. Start of last season, end of last season. Is there progress? No. Has there been progress better yet? Yes or no? Okay, are we on a positive trajectory? All right, cool. Let's not get complacent. Let's build. Are we on a negative trajectory? Yes, we are. What is going wrong? Is it going to change? But do I think the owner is going to change? Do I think the manager is going to change in certain things? Do I think some of your teammates are going to change, Holding? Because I don't doubt your professionalism, but some of your players turn it on when they want to and turn it off when they want to. Again, it's too volatile. The culture of the club has become, to call it mediocre would be to even compliment it. So it is what it is. You have most importantly, you've let yourselves down, because I'm always big on self. You can't motivate someone if you're self, you let yourselves down. You all talk a good game and you don't deliver. How does it feel? Some of you got family members, some of you got kids, and I'm sure they're all asking, why did Arsenal lose today, Daddy? Remember Koscielny moved to tears? I'm sure some of your parents and whatnot are asking what's going on with Arsenal. I'm sure some of you are equally disillusioned. Self-regret. Yeah, letting down other people hurts, but I don't know about anyone, but I can't run away from my conscience. If I know I haven't done what I've needed to do, or I've been motivated to do whatever, I look at myself, because I believe, well, my conscience don't lie to me. I can lie to it, but when I look in the mirror, or I look on my bed before I go to sleep, I know if I've done joke man business, and that's what fuels me, and that's accountability, I guess, man. Bro, but Ishmael, it didn't happen, innit? If Emre and them man didn't ruin the last 8 games, we'd be in the Champions League again, and who knows what would have happened in terms of money. If Thierry Henry scored in 06, we'd have a Champions League. If we didn't bottle it along with Spurs again in that season, Leicester might have not won the league. Like I said, if you were born a female, you wouldn't have a willy. Ifs and buts don't mean anything. If we all did better in school, I'm sure we'd all have better paying jobs or doing whatever. I'm sure ifs and buts going back in time, it's all dead. You don't. And a new manager doesn't mean anything. Yeah, maybe if a new manager came in after Arteta, like we saw under Arteta and Emre, there might be a short-term uptake in performance and playing well and things like that. But when that wears off, you will see these players for what they are, and I'll leave you to draw your own conclusions. But ifs and buts are dead, We always talk about fine margins. Those are fine margins. You have to control variables you actually can control, and we can't. It's dead. It's dead. Who knows? I could do that. If we brought Smith Rowe in earlier, where would we be? If we played Ozil, if Saliba, if this with Aubameyang, if that with Pepe, bro, it's all dead, man. It's all dead. Wouldn't even say absolutes, but it's dead, fam. That's just, for me, that's just finding positives where there are none, in my opinion. Not saying Ishmael's doing that. Is what it is, man. And you're right, bro. You need a competitive mindset. But all them invincibles, they wanted to be winners for themselves. So when they're linking up with other winners, there's certain things you don't have to tell them. Certain ways of carrying yourself, you don't have to tell them. Certain things, they're going to take heed and do it themselves. We all know we've had incidences of winning league titles. Man want to punch each other up. Man are fighting and training. I want to hear that. I want people, if you go to, for me, if you're part of a team and you go to war, which should be your brothers, if you go to war with each other in training, then you should be raining hellfire on guys on Saturday and Sunday. It just seems like at this club, man are bad for their brethren. Certain men are fighting each other in training. Certain men are fighting each other in pre-games. I don't see that fight against strangers, because for me, if you bad up your brethren, you bad up your friends and your family, strangers, you should be on this thing, in my opinion. But it is what it is, man. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. Let's move on with that though, people. Let's move on. Away from that though, Granit Xhaka has spoken as well, folks. Let's see what Xhaka had on his future. Xhaka speaks on future. Let's see what Granit Xhaka has had to say, people, in that regard. One sec. Right, Dermot, leave the guy alone, man. You know, because your wife's probably still onto him with that crap hairline or not, man. You lot need to allow it with all of that. When you lot get out man's hairline and personal appearance is dead, man. It's dead. Got more money than you. Take your gal. It don't matter, man. Allow that, man. We can have fun and games, but it's dead. It's dead. He's dead. He's living the dream you all want to live as well, like being a footballer, bro. That's dead. Because them man are fighting each other. Bro, I don't see Ceballos fighting next man on the football field. I don't see Eddie fighting next man on the football field. Not that he's been on it. Man have to fight, bro. Man have to fight, bro. Oh, trust me, pure funny man thing. Shout out Dermot because he's always here, but like, man. Moving forward away from all of that, though, Granit Xhaka said he's happy at Arsenal and all of that sort of stuff, people. There are always rumours at the end of the season, that's for sure. But I still have a 2-year contract in London and I'm very happy with my family here. So again, realistically, Xhaka isn't going to be moved on in the summer unless he wants to. Xhaka's actually one of those where I just want us to shift our importance away from him. You bring in a Partey, you bring in a next midfielder. I would love 2 midfielders, and then Xhaka goes to what he should be, a squad player. When you're playing a team that's playing a low block and not offering something, you get on him. Do I think Xhaka's a bad player? No, I think he's a misunderstood one. There's players who think he's dog poo. There's fans that think he's dog poo. There's fans that think he's amazing. The truth is in the middle. He's not a bad player. He's not exactly a great player. He's a competent player at times, but he's got a lot of incompetencies. And for me, you know, there's got to be a reason 3 managers have been here and made him central to that. Let's be real. You do see what you're missing when Xhaka is out of the team. But this tells me when the likes of Xhaka and Luiz are part of the DNA of this team to the point where they don't play, there's a problem. That tells me you've hit a glass ceiling. That tells me there's a cap on your ambition. You know, the pros that Xhaka brings to his game are not outweighing the cons. Do I think people get onto him a lot? Of course, but we all know the mistakes, the errors, the needing a million part chances on the game. It's ridiculous. I think he's one of those where I would describe him as a phase out player. You know, you phase him out. You know, you still use him next season, but you move him on. You look to use a Partey and a Basuma and the next guy if he comes in. I keep saying that because I think we need 2 midfielders. Other than that, it's a bit of a myth. He's also said it was a big disappointment to be eliminated short of the final and a possible return to the Champions League. Boy, all in all, it was very fortunate for us. Unfortunate for us, we couldn't play with the best team. You have to stay positive, though, and we'll attack again next season. It's always looking to next season, next month, next game. It's never about seizing our future or seizing our realities at this very moment, and that's what I feel is the problem with Arsenal Football Club. But you know, this guy will be going to the Euros again. When will you decide his future, people? You know, when will you decide his future? Because if I'm him, do you want to go to a new club before the Euros so you go there with peace of mind, or do you want to say, you know what, Arsenal, I don't really care what you lot want to do with my future or what you lot are doing. I'm going to this Euros for the next month or so. I'm focusing on this. When it's done, we'll talk about my future, which obviously it affects what you can and can't do. This is why we need a plan as to what we're going to do in the market. And again, what I think is happening is we're going to wake up when the season is finished and, oh, we need a midfielder, we need this, we need that. I've heard a lot of bullish talk from Arteta, from Edu, from everyone involved. I said I'm prepared to shut up. Come September, if 80% of this business isn't done, if midfield isn't addressed, because you was a midfielder, that's where I have my issues. So I said I'll hold my hands up. I'll listen to what you lot are saying. I won't criticize. You don't bring in what we need to bring in. I've got receipts because I'm still holding it close to my heart that you said we've learned our lessons from Olympiacos. Lo and behold, we played them a year later, and Benfica and Slavia Prague, and actually, and Olympiacos, if I haven't said that, and Villarreal, and the cases were all the same. Relying on the second half of the second leg to turn things around. Not proactive on the pitch. Are we going to be proactive off the field? I'm not going to hold my breath. But you lot can if you want, people. You know, it is what it is. Please make sure you're hitting the like button in that regards, people. Please make sure you're hitting the like button in that regards. What else, man? Bit harsh to call him mediocre. He's just average. I think guys gas him. Xhaka is way too, I would say limited. I wouldn't say negative. I'd say he's extremely limited. Extremely limited. Xhaka mashes in the shift, but it's dead, man. And this is it, you know, them man there, you know, you can get at them. You can get at you, bro. You can chat about man's appearance until you're blue in the face. But them man, they got money, living the dream. Psh, think he cares what's on YouTube saying about man's hairline and that? Like, it's dead, bro. Like, it's dead. Big up yourself, Brandon, as well. 6:45. Get some sleep, man. This live stream's gonna be there when you come back, my brother. Don't watch that, man. What time is the watch along? Live from 6 p.m., my broski. Live from 6 p.m. You know, let's get the link up as well. Live from 6 p.m. because we kick off at, do we kick off at 7:15 or something like that? Oh, that's live reaction. So I'm sending you the wrong thing, but I think 7:15 is kickoff. And it shows, for me, the Xhaka is defo not as bad as people make out, but the best midfielders do things in less touches. Sometimes needs 1,000 touches to do things you can do in 10. One of the best midfielders with hella time on the ball, much like all of these Arsenal players. It's absolutely appalling, man. Well, yeah, it is what it is in that regards, people, you know. And that's it. Xhaka's braver than Bear Man in this. This is the problem. You know, Xhaka will pass the ball, Louise will pass the ball. Certain man curl into a ball and are scared to do such. Leave you lot to draw your own conclusion. So yeah, we spoke about that. Spoke about that. Where else are we at, man? In that regards. Hour and 20. Now we might as well just end this with Stan Kroenke, people, or something Stan Kroenke has or has not done or whatever. But just before that, you know, we've got to get the ads in. Come on, big up everybody locked in. Kieran has said just before we get into this Kroenke stuff, if reporting on Arsenal flops, you could always be a motivational speaker, DG. I know a lot of people say that, but I can only motivate myself, man. I can't motivate a next man or woman. I ain't made it in life to be motivating people because for me, I'm not looking at someone. If I know you, like, what are you motivating for? If you're just giving bullish talk, I don't know. But moving away from that, though, let's get into this Stan Kroenke business, people. Whatever he said, I know that name has sent shivers down you lot. But anyways, people, more positive propaganda. It's not coming out of The Athletic this time where it says, no, Kroenke hasn't just been at one game. He's been to 14 Arsenal matches, but he keeps a low-key profile. Yeah. According to Football London, the American owner will help the club despite calls for Kroenke to sell his shares. Bro, what do you mean despite calls for him to sell his shares, the scum newspaper? But sell your shares. You're helping your own club. Don't get twisted. It's the fans club. We love it. But why does it feel like man are getting seen as the savior for saving essentially, which is their own business? Anyways, people, the 73-year-old, his net worth is worth 5.75 billion, and apparently, and the loan repayment that we've all seen also includes a 0.5 interest rate worth 600k, which is cool. You know, that's expected. Apparently, it is said the club used the money to help pay off the contracts of Mustafi and Socrates, along with, obviously, we heard to help with COVID people. And although the option is available to apply for a 12-month extension in repaying the loan, Arsenal are reportedly ready to pay it back this month. The coronavirus hit the North London outfit hard. We lost almost all of the club's 100 million annual match day revenue, which I never want the club to lose money to a degree purely because as much as I hate who owns it, let's be real, there's a lot of honest men and women that work there. Obviously, there's people in call centers, there's people out there's people with youths, and there's people like you and I that are making an honest living that, you know, that's why when I'm saying this and that about shirt and this and that, I hear it, but it affects them. And obviously no one likes to hear about the 55 staff members that were made redundant. So apparently, like you see at the top, the owner is set to personally intervene as the club pays back a 120 government loan. To be fair, you should pay back that in the same way we heard you lot are paying the Super League fines or whatever sanctions. So you should be paying back that really and truly. And as you can see here, let's get that takeover bid done, Daniel. Don't know what the other freeze roles will be if it does get done, but it is what it is, people. You know, I'm not going to praise someone for helping the club in a time of need like this, especially when the club has been nothing other than a love child for him. But if you want to praise him for that, you know, you can do what you want. We have to see what happens, man. Probably, but I don't know. You'd have to speak to a transfer man. I appreciate that. Deluded, happy for you, bro. Keep up the great work. I appreciate that, man. I don't think anyone's over it. No one's. That's what I don't think you're listening, Scallywag, because maybe you're making a general comment, but I've said that. But at the same time, it's meaty. It's meaty. And here we go. When people can't help this. When people just can't accept people don't have the same opinion as you. Not gonna lie, DG. I thought you had sense, bro. You know, you get if I had a pound for every time that said you're so deluded or undeluded, I don't know. Xhaka is too negative. I thought you had, you know, I thought you had the ability to listen. Said this. I don't care about his underlining numbers. Something I haven't mentioned. The eye test don't lie. He's poor. You're just hearing what you want to hear. I'll take not having sense. You can take being a dickhead. Like it's not making sense. Like this, one thing I'm big on is respecting other people's opinion. So that's a block for you, mate, because again, listen to what people are saying. Don't just listen to what you want to hear. I agree with Xhaka. You know, Xhaka is braver than these players, but at the same time, his passing is negative, his passing is poor. It's not levels. It's just great in comparison to other people. But you know, again, stop hearing what you want to hear, man. Kroenke will use the ESL fine as an excuse for weak transfer funds. Let's hope not. Blessings, DG, massive drive on the content with Ceballos going. Surely someone's coming in. You would imagine with unclear. Well, Partey is the only midfielder that there's clarity over his future because we've just brought him in. So you'd expect that to be the case, man. Bro, funny name, innit? It's not a hater, bro. It's just you don't have to, you know, you can disagree. You just don't have to just listen to what people are saying. Don't listen to what you think he said, man. He was always meant to pay it back in June. We saying propaganda pieces. I heard that. I heard that. Big up M for that one. He's not here for it. Oh man, man are just hearing what they want to hear, man. But oh well, people, you know, I've enjoyed this live stream and things like that. But if you've enjoyed this live stream, the great news is that you know we're still going. So yeah, I'll be back again at 6 p.m. people. Link is in the description. Link will be in the timestamps when this video uploads properly. Link is in the live chat. Obviously, hit a like button even if you can't be there. Also do the same on well, I showed you the reaction, so do it on the watch along as well. Yeah, man, there actually isn't anything other to say other than that, man. I've loved being here, but we've been here for close to 90 minutes now. I'm going to keep it moving, really and truly, people. So, yeah, please make sure you hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, I can't imagine you're not, but do that one, and I'll love and leave you lot, people. You know, I thought, let me do something a bit different. You know, let's just go through the transfer stuff, because what else is there to go through? It's a slow day. We'll do a bit more of them. My original plan was actually to speak about Harry Kane leaving Spurs and all them other little talking points in the wider footballing world that's been arising. But I'm going to love and leave you guys. Yeah, man. Everybody stay well, stay safe. Make sure you hit the like button. I see a couple of you say we're at 250. Let's at least get to 300. And yeah, make sure you're all there later. I'll catch you lot, man. Love and leave you lot. Big up the Twitch gang, big up the subscribers, big up the viewers, big up the members. I'm out, man. Stay